Philippine Republic, the new republic. So I will going to continue the report of Mr. Jun de Toruba. President Ferdinand E. Marcos, nanungkulan noong 1965 hanggang 1986. Proclamation number 1081 on September 21, 1972 ushered the period of the new society. 5 days after the proclamation of martial law, the entire country was proclaimed a land reform area and simultaneously the agrarian reform progress was decreed. Republic Act number 6389 Code of Agrarian Reform and RA number 6390 of 1971 created the Department of Agrarian Reform and the Agrarian Reform Special Account Fund. It strengthened the position of farmers and expanded the scope of agrarian reform. Next one is Presidential Decree number 2, December 26, 1972. Declared the country under land reform program, it enjoined all agencies and offices of the government to extend full cooperation and assistance to the DAR. It also activated the Agrarian Reform Coordinating Council. Next is Presidential Decree number 27, October 21, 1972. Restricted land reform scope to tenanted rice and corn lands and set the retention limit at 7 hectares. President Corazon C. Aquino. She is the president during the 1986 up to 1992. She was the president, rather. The Constitution ratified by the Filipino people during the administration of President Corazon C. Aquino. It provides under Section 21 under Article 2 that the state shall promote comprehensive rural development and agrarian reform. On June 10, 1988, former President Corazon C. Aquino signed into law Republic Act number 6657 or otherwise known as the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law or CARL. The law became effective on June 15, 1988. Subsequently, 4 presidential issuances were released in July 1987 after 48 nationwide consultation before the actual law was enacted. Executive Order Number 228, July 16, 1987, declared full ownership to qualified farmer beneficiaries covered by PD 27. It also determined the value remaining unvalued rice and corn lands subject of PD 27 and provided for the manner of payment by the FBS and mode of compensation to landowners. The next one is Executive Order number 229 on July 22 and 1987 provided mechanism for the implementation of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program o tinatawag na CARP. So, next one is Republic Act number 6657, June 10, 1988, Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law, an act which became effective June 15, 1988 and instituted a comprehensive agrarian reform program to promote social justice and industrialization, providing the mechanism for its implementation and for other purposes. This law is still the one being implemented at the present. Executive Order number 405, June 14, 1990, vested in the Land Bank of the Philippines the responsibility to determine the land valuation and compensation for all lands covered by CARP. Next is Executive Order number 407, June 14, 1990, accelerated the acquisition and distribution of agricultural lands, pasture lands, fish ponds, agroforestry lands, and other lands of the public domain suitable for agriculture. The next is President Fidel B. Ramos from 1992 to 1998. When President Fidel B. Ramos formally took over in 1992, his administration came face to face with the publics who have lost confidence in the agrarian reform program. His administration committed to the vision, fairer, faster, and more meaningful implementation of the agrarian reform program. Republic Act number 7881 on 1995 amended certain provisions of RA 6657 and exempted fish ponds and prawns from the coverage of carp. Republic Act number 7905 on 1995 strengthened the implementation of the CARP. Executive Order number 363 on 1997 it states that limits the type of plants that may be converted by setting conditions under which limits the type of plants that may be converted by setting conditions under which specific categories of agricultural land are either absolutely non-negotiable for conversion or highly restricted for conversion. The next Republic Act number 8435 on 1987, Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act or AFMA, plugged the legal loopholes in the land use conversion. Republic Act 8532 1998 Agrarian Reform Fund Bill provided an additional 50 billion for CARP and extended its implementation for another 10 years. President Joseph E. Estrada 1998 up to 2000 Era para sa mahirap. This was the battle cry that endeared President Joseph Estrada and made him very popular during the 1998 presidential election. President Joseph E. Estrada initiated the enactment of the following law. Executive Order number 151 September 1999 Farmers Trust Fund allowed the voluntary consolidation of small farm small farm operation into medium and large scale integrated enterprise that can access long-term capital. The next executive During his administration, President Estrada launched the Magkabalikat para sa Kaunlarang Agraryo or Magkasaka. The DAR forged into joint ventures with private investors into a agrarian sector to make FPS competitive. So we move on to Mrs. President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo from 2000 to 2010. The Agrarian Reform Program under the Arroyo administration is anchored on the vision to make the countryside economically viable for the Filipino by family building partnerships and promoting social equity and new economic opportunities towards the lasting peace and sustainable rural development. So these are the 5 implemented laws under by Macapagal Arroyo. Land tenure, the improvement. DAR will remain vigorous in implementing land acquisition and distribution component of CARP. The DAR will improve land tenure system through land distribution and leasehold. Provision of support services. CARP not only involves the distribution of lands but also included the package of support services which includes such as credit assistance, extension services, irrigation facilities, roads and bridges, marketing facilities and training, and technical support programs. Infrastructure projects. Will transport the agrarian reform communities mm, Dar will transform the agrarian reform communities ARCs, an area focused in the integrated development support services into rural economic zones that will help into the creation of job opportunities in the countryside. Kalahi R Zone. The Kalahi Agrarian Reform Car Zones were also launched. These zones consist of one or more municipalities with concentration of agrarian justice to help clear the the backlog of agrarian cases. There will hire more paralegal officers to support undermanned adjudicatory ad, adjudic, adjudicatory boards and introduce quota system to compel adjudicators to work faster on agrarian labor cases. So let's move on to President Aquino, the son of our late president, Mr. President Marcos. So, I know our late President Corazon Aquino, rather. So, President Benigno Aquino III vowed during his 2012 State of the Nation address that he would complete before the end of his term the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program CARP, the centerpiece program of the administration of his mother, President Corazon Aquino. The younger Aquino distributed their family-owned hacienda, La Luisita in Tarlac. Apart from the said farm lots, he also promised to confess. So it also under his administration the Agrarian Reform Community Connectivity and Economic Support or Services or access. The project was created to contribute to the overall contour of rural living. Then the next is under his administration, the Agrarian Reform Community Connectivity and Economic, the legal case of monitoring systems or LCMs, a web-based legal system for recording and monitoring various kinds of agrarian cases in the provincial. Uh, aside aside from this initiative, Aquino also enacted Executive Order Number 26 2001. So the next one is President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. He is the president from 2016 down to 2022. Under his leadership, the president wants to pursue an aggressive and his leadership, the president wants to pursue an aggressive led reform program that would help alleviate the Filipino people. Then the president directed Radar the launch the second phase. The The president also placed 400 hectares of agricultural lands in Boracay under CARP. Under his administration, the DAR created an anti-corruption task force to investigate and handle reports and league anomalous activities by official employees of the department. The department also pursues an upland zero backlog in the solution of grass uh, in the department. The cases in relation to agrarian justice to be part of the agrarian reform program to fast track the implementation of CARP. Thank you.